Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to Brain Gist. This is a channel where we talk about the brain and its disorders. Today, I want to talk about something very, very crucial, which you may not hear anywhere else, and that has to do with when you travel long haul flights. And for me, what I'm about to say is particularly pertinent if you are older than 30 and you're embarking on a flight that's longer than 4 hours. So you may not get this advice anywhere else, so that's why you need to stick around to the end of this video. So before I go into the video, I welcome you to the channel once again. It's a channel where we teach people about the brain and the nervous system in its entirety, what the lay people need to know about the disorders of the brain. But once in a while, I venture outside of the brain to talk about things that are germane to our overall health. Okay, so as I am doing today. So it has to do with the risk inherent in air travel that lasts up to 4 hours and beyond. This risk is significant, albeit it's often not realized and not talked about until people have these medical complications that can result from it if the care is not taken. So if you are from age 30 and above and you're going through or you are embarking on a flight that is up to 4 hours or longer, you must pay attention, because the background or the baseline of what I'm about to say has to do with the fact that our blood circulation when we are sitting or standing is actually affected by gravity, such that the flow tends to be reduced in the lower parts of the body. When I say flow, I mean upward flow of blood is kind of slowed down, or it kind of accumulates in the lower parts of the body when you're sitting or standing. So, and when we're going through this kind of flight, we'll have to sit for a long period of time. So in the legs, because of the effect of gravity, the blood tends to accumulate there and doesn't flow upwards towards the brain as much as it should. So what happens in such situation is clot formation can easily happen. CLOT, so blood instead of flowing freely because of that sluggishness in the legs, this blood can clot. And when it clots, it can easily break off and get dislodged. And the commonest organ that is vulnerable is the lungs. So the lungs can trap this clot, and such people develop difficulty in breathing either during the journey or afterwards. Shortly afterwards, they develop difficulty in breathing, chest pain. Some might even cough depending on the severity of it. And for those who may have some abnormal communication in their heart and between the two sides of the heart, right and left, this clot can also make its way to the brain and cause a form of stroke. But the commonest complication people tend to have is this clot getting dislodged to the lungs. So simply put, what I'm trying to say is that blood flow or blood drainage from the legs to the upper part of the body is not as efficient as it would normally be when we are in a sitting position for a long period of time, particularly during long haul flights up to 4, 5, 6, 7 hours or even longer. And that's a period of vulnerability where this clots can form and even get dislodged, and people can die from this. So the people at risk are people who are 30 years and older. So for those who are maybe much younger, they may not worry so much about it. But for those of us who are already, well over 30, or some of us even over 40, then we must take precaution. So this came to mind because I recently traveled eastwards, traveled to Japan, and that's about 10 hours flight from where I currently live in Dubai, and in fact, the return flight was 11 hours. And normally, when I travel and it's up to 6 hours, I usually would go with my socks, and that's a compression socks. I actually have the one I use here. That's the molar stocking. This one helps to put pressure on the legs. You can see it's as high as the thigh. So I like this particular one. I usually wear that, and that helps to put pressure on the legs and helps to compress the veins in the legs so that that accumulation I talked about wouldn't happen. When we are up and about and we're walking during a normal day, the walking around, the pumping of the muscles actually help to squeeze blood away from the legs so this accumulation doesn't happen. But when we sit in a flight for so long a time, we're actually not moving. So this muscle pump is not really helping us to push blood away or to maintain circulation away from the legs. Therefore, that causes some vulnerability, and blood can easily clot. So what the stockings do is to actually help to squeeze, the legs. You feel that firm pressure there, and it helps to not allow excess accumulation of blood in the veins in the legs, and therefore clot formation is reduced, and therefore that risk is significantly mitigated. So I usually wear these stockings, and that's what you should do if you're actually undertaking a long haul flight from 4 hours or longer. If you are 30 years and above, you should think about these things. So what I had to do, because that was a mistake I made, I forgot my stockings at home, and the one given in the flight actually by the airline was definitely not a replacement. It was definitely, it was not firm enough and wouldn't provide the kind of pressure I needed. So I had to be, basically moving my feet every moment. Just pacing around even while seated. I was having to, tap my foot repeatedly to make sure my feet are being exercised and the muscles are engaged intermittently to keep blood flowing. So I made this mistake, but you shouldn't make that mistake. And going forward, I would never forget this travel companion of mine. It can save your life. So I encourage you to share this videos with your friends and everybody that matters to you. All right, thanks for watching today, and hope to see you again. Till I come your way again, stay safe, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.